Victoria Alonso, executive producer of Marvel Studios. You know, I think it looks very different from the outside than it looks from the inside. And the amount of success, we don't see it really. I mean, we understand that it's happening. We're not denying that it's happening. But I think that because the pressure of getting it right again and again and again is there and is very present, that we're always thinking about what's coming next. I mean, we have Doctor Strange coming out now in a minute worldwide, but then next year we have 3 films coming out. And we are, right now we are working with addition to Doctor Strange, is 9 films altogether. So for us is this consistent struggle of time and fighting the time that we don't have. And there hasn't been that moment where we say, hey, we're successful, let's stop, let's celebrate. We don't do that. We're like, hey, Doctor Strange comes out, let's go into a Black Panther meeting. Hey, we have to get on a call about Infinity War. Hey, we have to go. There's always that. So it's, I don't think really it's ever sunk in, and maybe that's for the better, because we just continue to try and get it right over and over again. We don't ever think we got it right, by the way. Every time we think we could have done better. Very different characters, but incredibly intelligent, reliable, in-depth performers. I think they both attacked it in a way that they were able to get out of the page far more than we envisioned. So I think you're in for a treat if you go see the movie, and I think you're in for a treat if you continue to watch our movies. I think Doctor Strange hopefully will open this new mystical world of multiverses that we've been waiting to tell. And I think it's, you know, something different for us, something that we haven't done before. And I think it's got a little bit more of spirituality to it than we've done before. Every time I say this is the biggest we've done, we do it bigger. So I am wrong every time. To me, it's really, what does the story need? If the story needs it, we're going to have it. So you can have a movie like Ant-Man or Doctor Strange, which shot-wise is less than a Civil War or an Avengers movie, which is double the amount of shots. And yet you don't feel that as a viewer. You feel the volume of the visuals. And as long as that moves the story along, as long as you're in it, we're always going to give it to you. We don't want to do visuals just for visual sake, because then people somehow they step out of the story. It's just, we don't want to do the spectacle because we can. We want to do the spectacle because it's needed for that particular moment. Otherwise, there's no point to it. But for me to say, this is it, this is as big as we're going to go, I will eat my words if I say that, so I won't say that. I'm hoping that we don't go a lot bigger, because, you know, there's only enough hours in the day. But we'll see. You know, managing people is difficult, but it's what I live for. I've made a career out of it, so I love it. For us, we do have our key vendors across the world that we've worked with often, but we love to have new people come in. So every time we have a new company, we get to learn what we're doing awfully right and what we're not doing right at all, because every time somebody new comes in, we can actually be better. But the most important thing is communication, is being able to tell them exactly what we're doing and thinking, even if we don't think that that's affecting them. I think it's important for them to be a part of it, and it doesn't matter if you have a very small part of the movie or you have the largest chunk. I think that kind of communication is constant, and all of our teams are consistently asked to do that, to make sure that we keep them in the loop of what we're doing. When you're working globally, that's rather difficult, but we trust them, and we need to make sure that they understand that they are a part of this family that is going to create this beautiful thing that we'll take out to the world. So I would say that's one of the most important things. And also I think that some companies that you have are shop makers and some are filmmakers. And we open the door for all these companies to learn which ones are shot makers and which ones are filmmakers. Because we open it enough that if you are a filmmaker and you want to put an idea forward, we'll listen to the idea. Because sometimes we come dry of ideas. You know, you're talking about the same thing for years, and then somebody comes from the outside and go, "Have you guys thought about this?" And we're like, "No, that's a good idea." So we try to implement if there's a new idea coming. Some of the companies just want to do what they're told, and they're very good at executing. But I think that's probably what makes us a little different. I think that just when we think it's getting easier, then there's some new hurdle that we have to go through. So I think it's ever changing. I think that companies understand now that globally is more of the norm as opposed to not. I think they've all found their legs across the world and what suits them and what works for them. We are committed to keep the work in the United States if we can, but it's rather difficult at times because it doesn't financially make any sense. But I think that they found their way of what it is, and I think, listen, just when you think that you have it all sorted out, then BC changes that tax moment, and then you have to go elsewhere. We try to chase the best teams. For me, what's important is to have the best team for the work. If they so happen that they are in a place where there's a tax rebate, then we are all the better for it. But we can't cheat the movie from the talent because we're going to make a tax rebate. We have to find the right talent first. The greatest challenge is to find enough time to do everything that needs to be done within the 24 hours of the day. It is often that I wish it was a 36-hour day, often. The greatest reward is when you can cram in 24 hours when it really should take 36. But, you know, I think I have a dream job, so my reward is on a daily basis. I look at what we do, I look at the joy that it brings to people, and I realize that I can't believe they're paying me to do this job because it's a beautiful job. I don't take it for granted every day. Every day I say, I'm so glad that Marvel still lets me in. I check my ID every day and see if it works. And if it works, I get to have another 24 hours. That should be 36, but I get another 24 hours.